All right, hey, well, welcome to the channel. Another round with David. First ever video we're doing. We are here up at Kiawah Island Ocean Course. Gonna play a little tournament today. As we'll see from some of the videos. This is where I'm at. For 2025. I started this channel, don't really know what we're gonna do with it, but started it, track what's going on with my golf game. So I live here on Kiawah. I'm a 13 handicap right now, but my golf game's a shambles. So what are we doing today? We have new grip, new stance, new weight transfer, new pivot, new release. We're gonna see if it all pans out. But really what we're trying to do with this is see if I can chart getting better, having fun, seeing if I can improve on golf. Otherwise I'm gonna take up some tennis. So we'll get some first ever course vlog as well. So it could be a little shaky. But we'll figure it out as we run and see what happens. So enjoy the ride on the channel because we're going to talk about golf. We're going to talk about wine. We're just really going to have a good time, chat about a bunch of things. Maybe even throw in some equipment. Seems like that's all I do is I work, I play golf, drink some wine, check out golf equipment. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. As you can see, wonderful ocean course. So a little foggy today, but we can live with that. That's why I'm playing with the yellow ball. That way we can find it. Anyway, so yeah, welcome by. Hope you enjoy what you see, and we'll see if we can get some good content for the tournament today and for the channel to come. So, cheers. So first tee jitters, all I really wanted to do was avoid the bunker. And luckily, it didn't go in. So not the greatest strike, but hey, off the front of the green at one, not gonna complain. This was a lot more uphill than it looks. Didn't want to chip it or pitch it. I was afraid of running it long or doing something silly. So putter it was, even though I haven't really practiced these before. And it actually worked out. It was an okay putt up, and then I actually didn't make the comebacker. But so far, so good. So after the long walk down the par 5, we then had one of the longer shots of the day. I think this one was about 175 yards. You can see where we're cut. And I thought I hit a good shot, and it went left, and left shots go a little bit longer. So not the best leave, given that I was in this bunker, and I'm not a great bunker player. So 3 is a really tough green. It sits up on a plateau. You can't go long, and if you go short, it's going to roll way back down. So wanted to hit something. It was about 125 or so yards, and just wanted to get it somewhere middle of the green. And I hadn't hit a couple of great strikes yet, so I was hoping here. And somehow I pulled it off. So actually, mission accomplished.
Go in the hole.
The putt here, I don't know what it was, maybe some 30 feet or so. And green reading at Ocean is difficult because it's subtle. There's, only on a couple of greens are there some wide swales, but if you get off a little bit and you don't read the subtleties, you're going to be, missing it. So really, I just wanted to kind of nestle it up close and, took the caddy's advice, which is invaluable when I'm playing there. We've got a great caddy that we work with, and he always seems to know exactly where everything's going to break. So trusted his line and almost got it in. So after a decent triumph on 3, let's just not talk about 4, and we can move on. Honestly, I cannot tell you how foggy it was here. Like, you can barely see where the ball's going, but it was actually dead on the flag, just a little bit long. So with some up and down magic, I walked out with a par. So pretty happy here.
Sounded great. So crispy. Plenty of club. Stay right. Yeah, you're fine. Come back. Oh, look at that.
So not a bad tee shot. Left me this as a legit look at birdie. A little nervous because it's downhill and didn't want it to go racing by. So took my caddy's advice and kept my fingers crossed. The 7th green purchased up quite a bit and just got a little unlucky. Spun it off the front and it rolled back down quite a ways. So not the best. Couldn't make the up and down, but got out without a ton of damage. So for whatever reason, when I was off the green, I was doing a lot of putting, and somehow it worked out today. Usually I pitch or a chip, usually use my 50-degree wedge, but putter was just seemed to make sense. And so I wasn't going to complain with how this stuff turned out. So after a decent up and down on 8, I just bladed this. It was like a 70-yard shot, and I just don't do well right now at that distance. So not a fun hole. Can't tell. I got a little heavy. So not terrible, but I was off the green left in the waist area, and my spectacular camera work, you can not see the ball. So I was up against the lip. And by the way, that is not a penalty shot because these are waist areas, not bunkers. So you're allowed to ground your glove. But for me, up against the lip of grass, not being a great bunker player and leaving it about 8 feet for par, I was pretty happy with this. And the way I was putting so far today, like this was something that I would be happy coming off the green with. So just this little 8-footer for par and walk off to the next hole would be pretty awesome. But I wasn't that lucky. So lipped out and I took a bogey. So 11's one of my favorite holes on the Ocean Course. Obviously today playing as a par 3, it wasn't as spectacular, but the green perches up on a tabletop. You cannot go long. So mission accomplished of getting it about middle of the green, about 12 feet from the pin. My caddy was like, hey, look, it's about 6-8 inches out, so just don't pull it. And what did I do? I pulled it. So the 12th green historically gives me fits. For whatever reason, visually, I'm not comfortable with it. So when I see something and I know it's downhill like this putt is, somehow I can't quite trust myself that it's downhill, and I do something silly like I did here, and I put it about 10 feet past. The only saving grace was I was putting really well today, so I actually made the comebacker, but I made it a heck of a lot harder on myself than I needed to. So 13 is one of the best holes on Ocean. I know I said I've liked a bunch of them, but this hole is spectacular, especially obviously when it's playing as a par 4. But there's all water right and marsh, and oh, by the way, some alligators are over there today. So all I wanted to do was try to get it on the green and keep it in play. And luckily I pulled it off. So we had a little camera change. My original camera ran out of batteries, and here we are on 14. I never play 14 well. And so the fact that I hit the green, even though it went a little bit left and spun that way, I was just over the moon.
What do we got here?
But it left quite a lengthy putt, and so I know we're at like ankle cam now that I had to switch cameras and the tripod was really low. But this putt was up the hill, and this was for birdie. So on 14, if I'm putting for birdie, I'm a very happy person.
Simmer. Coming a little toward me.
But of course, I blew it about 10 feet by. I don't know why I always hit it long on 14. I feel like I'm going uphill, and in reality, it's not as uphill as maybe I think it is. So this was to save par, and we needed it.
Oh! Good save, buddy. Oh, God, after that first one. Who needs golf on TV, man?
All right, well, we nearly murdered that one, but made a big comebacker for par. Still foggy as hell out at Ocean, but checking in, we're actually, I think, in the lead of this tournament. So hard to believe given how much of a hacker I am, but man, we'll see where we finish up. So after somehow sinking that par putt, I was feeling pretty good, but this was a short hole. It was like 75 to 80 yards, and I do not do well with that distance. So my caddy and I agreed, no 60s, just hit like a, you know, a punch with like a 50-degree or pitching wedge just to, you know, get it up there without trying to go crazy. And I actually made it work. It did leave me a little bit for my birdie putt, but given that you can't go left or long, this was a pretty good outcome, especially from a distance I'm not great at. I gave it way too much respect. So 16, you cannot go left on this hole. You're like 10, 15 feet down below the surface of the green. But this one was similar. It's 95 yards, so it's kind of like the last hole, hit a punch, but a little harder. And it was definitely something I was not comfortable with. And what happens when you're not comfortable? You blade it. So, not as bad as I thought. I went long, I went over, and I was sitting here up against the collar. But at least it wasn't left down in no man's land, and I've never gotten out of that waist area before. So this was, of all the outcomes, even though the swing wasn't great, I'd take it.
Hit it, hit it. It's pretty good. Good effort.
Great effort.
Nice three.
Now here we are on 17. It is all carryover water. This is a scary tee shot, and
Oh, what a pretty shot.
Go in the hole.
I don't know how I pulled it off, but I did.
Go in. Oh. Woo.
Now, of course, when I hit the tee shot, it looked like it was going in, and it was dead on the flagstick, but it was still pretty foggy. So by the time I got up here, we realized that it wasn't actually that close. I think I now had some 20 or 25 feet at the back edge of the green. So it looked amazing on the box, but not so much on the green. However, I still had a shot at birdie, and 17 being no easy hole, I wanted to make sure that I gave this a good go, because if I could, get a birdie on 17, I don't care if it's just a par 3 contest or not, that's a pretty spectacular thing.
I love it. I love it. What a great par.
So here we're on the home stretch. It finally started clearing up a bit. We're on 18. I think we were 175 yards out, and I was looking ready just to get it on the green and make it happen to close out. And it was the worst swing of the day. So went left, and it was flirting with the bunker, but I actually didn't make it into the bunker, which was awesome. So now I had a putt at par, even though it was more like 20 feet up the hill. Not to be, so missed the par putt and had to tap in for bogey. But honestly, a really good round, and with the new swing and all the changes, somehow I made it work. I don't know, maybe it was the playing partners, maybe it was just the fact it was ocean, but it was a good day.